In this lesson, we'll talk about thesis statements, most particularly what will make a good thesis statement in your ad analysis essay. So I'll start with a couple of things of what a good thesis statement should do. First thing, a good thesis statement should come at the end of your introduction, ideally in the introduction's final line. The second, it should name the rhetorical appeal or cultural code that you find most important. We've discussed both of these terms, and you need to name one of them when you write your thesis. And number three, it should function as an arguable claim. An arguable claim. So you might wonder what that means, and I want to spend a lot of time in this video explaining what that means. The most basic way to get at what an arguable claim is if the reader could ask the question, so what, after you state your thesis. If the reader could ask the question, so what, then your claim is not arguable. Let me demonstrate a little bit about that. For example, we could start with this ad, Serena Williams in a Got Milk campaign. If the thesis in an ad analysis of this ad were to say what you see on the screen, Serena Williams' Got Milk ad shows a strong woman's body. The reader could ask the question, so what? You read that and you go, so what? So what follows from the fact that there is a strong woman's body in it? That, therefore, means that this is not a good ad. Not a good thesis. This is not the strongest of possible thesis statements. Here's a way to make it better, and as you'll see, this does answer the question, so what? By showing a strong woman's body, Serena Williams' Got Milk ad argues that all women need not fit some impossible-to-achieve notion of beauty. That does answer the question, so what, and therefore it is an arguable claim, an arguable thesis, a good thesis. We could look at Nike ads and follow a similar pattern. Here are three famous Nike ads, print ads. If thesis statements in an essay about these ads were either of the two things that you see on the screen, either just Nike ads, which is obviously not enough, or many people respond to the energy in Nike ads, that still leaves the question, so what, out there. So what happens when people respond to the energy in Nike ads? Tell me more. The question is still out there, and therefore these are not the best thesis statements. Here's one that could be better. Despite their high-tech special effects, today's high-energy Nike ads do not convey the love of sport as did ads from earlier eras. All glitz and no substance, these ads are created for the weekend athlete, the wannabe. So the same idea is still there, the idea that the Nike ads have energy. But what's happening in the second thesis is that the reader is saying, so what happens because there's energy? Or I'm sorry, the writer is saying, so what happens because there's energy? This is what happens. And that is the mark of a good thesis in your ad analysis essay. And by the way, as you will see in this thesis, it is 2 sentences, and that is absolutely fine. There is no rule that a thesis has to be 1 sentence. 1, 2, maybe even 3. You still want it concise, but don't feel you have to contain yourself to 1 sentence. Okay. We could do the same thing. Let's do it one more time to make sure this makes sense with Ellen DeGeneres and the CoverGirl print ad that we see here. You'll see 3 thesis statements, and the third is the one that does indeed answer that question, so what? Ellen's CoverGirl print ad is great. So what? It doesn't do much, it doesn't say much. Great because it challenges so many stereotypes. That's the second option. That's getting better. It still is not as precise as it could be. And the third, as you see, so much more precise and once again answers that question, so what? The success of Ellen's CoverGirl print ad comes from subtle challenges to both gendered and sexual stereotypes, thus establishing Ellen as a newly constructed model woman. All right, so those are ways, that final one is a way to, again, answer that question, so what, and get what we're calling an arguable thesis. It's good to kind of have a list or a list of things not to do. That will help you know that you are indeed on the right track. Some of the previous examples had these things I'm going to now enumerate of what not to do. The first thing not to do is just state a fact. Nike ads use many famous athletes. That's not enough. That certainly doesn't answer the question, so what? And it leaves much still to be written and explained. Second thing not to do is provide a laundry list of what will come in the essay. Often this is the three-tiered thesis statement, where in the sentence there are direct mentions of what is going to come in the essay. Here's an example. The Serena Williams Got Milk ad uses a strong female body, a powerful celebrity endorser, and a staple found in most American refrigerators to create a new image of beauty in America. Now, what would probably follow upon that thesis in the essay would be a paragraph about the strong female body, a paragraph about the powerful celebrity endorser, sorry about that typo, and a paragraph about a staple found in most American refrigerators, in other words, milk. That is not the most sophisticated of thesis statements, and it's not recommended to do that. The better thing, if you find yourself tending toward these laundry list type of thesis statements, try to find an overall point that could encompass all three of these elements. Rather than simply listing the elements, look for an overarching claim that could encompass all three. Okay? And let's see, another thing not to do, avoid the movie review approach, in which the thesis provides a judgment about the ad's success or failure. The Nike ads are really great. That doesn't do enough, once again, and it certainly doesn't answer the question, so what? Last of all, try not to simply note the rhetorical appeal or cultural code upon which your essay will focus. Chrysler's M&M ad uses a good deal of pathos. Again, so what? So what happens when the ad uses pathos? If you answer that question, then you've got a better thesis. All right, I tell you what, let's have you all practice it. And in a moment, you're going to see an ad, a commercial, and then after it, you'll see a list of questions. And what I would like you to do is answer the questions in writing and bring that piece of writing into class, and we will use it in our next class. All right, so here's the ad, and then after that I'll go to the questions.
Don't let your child be educated by TV.
All right, so there was our ad, and here are the questions I would like you to answer in writing and again bring into class. As you see, the first one is a thesis. I'm asking you to say what's not so good about the thesis that appears below. The "don't let your child be educated by TV" commercial makes an important point. Okay. What could be better about that? What's not so good about it? And then second of all, using the concepts from this lesson, please write a thesis that improves on the above one. Okay, good luck with it, and I look forward to seeing what you bring in. Bye.